Yes, I know. Changing scene, changing scene. Changing scene to a beautiful player up here in the top, wearing his pink ZOUN skin. Give it up for Alpha X, ZOUN. Don't worry, Zayas. I'll give you a lesson in cat. I'll give you a lesson later. But down here in the bottom, give it up for Shopify Rebels, BYUN. Yeah, because nothing really happens in the first minute. So you try and get it in about the 30-second mark. I think that's the best one for the introductions. Do you see the probe going to be trying to... Yep. BYUN. Oh my goodness. Well, no. Why wouldn't it be BYUN? Like, that makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it? And for those of you on the YouTube video, later on, we're just talking in chat about what BYUN plus ZOUN means. See, sometimes when I speak to chat, I always feel like I have to kind of explain it to the YouTube community because they're not going to understand what's going on. It's kind of like an inside joke that is available to only people who get to see it live. But this Reaper is going to get a live scout. Shield Battery is going to make sure that he doesn't get any kills. He sees the Stargate in the backfield. And that's pretty much all he needs. Because BYUN is going to be going for that Marauder push that we saw in the last couple of games versus Patience. Now, obviously, Submarine is a very short rush distance, but ZOUN should be able to get a shield battery up and running in the front without too much of an issue. We're going to be coming in. And we'll get full confirmation of that Stargate, which is not being utilized yet. ZOUN's attention was elsewhere, just now starting up the Oracle, which will give time for BYUN to get a bit of a Marine defense. Maybe not a big one, as the Chrono Boost is pretty strong. And yeah, you can kind of see the hesitation here of BYUN. He realizes that he's not going to be able to throw these units away effectively. And so he will just retreat for now. Stim about halfway complete. Medevac's not going to be out for a while, as the starport is only about halfway complete. And we do see ZOUN going for that third Nexus nice and on time. That's the thing about Protoss, is they're able to throw down that early Nexus. And once you get to 3 base, really as any race, you just kind of have this explosion in production. So it's very crucial that you either slow that down as the Terran player, or you risk just getting overwhelmed. Ooh. Now he does get the Oracle, but that is quite bad for the SCVs, as they do get quite weakened by the spread. So really nice move by ZOUN, making the most of it. Oh, I remember the first time I used an Oracle too. Like, I realized that you had to press C, and then I just made like 60 of them. Because I didn't think I needed any other unit. You know, he'll have to find an angle, but there's enough force field energy to shut him down no matter which way he goes in. So I think it's best to kind of just keep this map presence. You don't go home. Just, you know, put that threat out there. Say that, hey, if you move out, I'm going to be in your face and I'm going to get a timing on you. I'm going to backstab you hard with 2 medevacs worth of units. But now we have the siege tanks. Going to be looking to set up. Question is, will ZOUN let him? Scan going down, going to reveal where the army positioning is, so he'll just rotate to the top of the ramp. And now ZOUN is about to take a big pot shot here. The shield battery instantly focus fire down. The sentries not too long for this world as they are focused down as well. Trying to fight right on top of the shield battery. Maybe not the best suggestion. But ZOUN trying to make this work. Will not be able to save any of these stalkers, and his supply is plummeting. So many probes going down, so many stalkers no longer going to be in this world. One Widowmine going to get a good shot off as well. The siege tank might get taken down here, just barely falls, but that's enough time for the reinforcements to ultimately close this one out. BYUN in very convincing timing will take down the Nexus and will take this game. Yeah, this is the kind of momentum that you love to see as a Terran player. Never let up. Once you smell that blood in the water, you just have to keep trading as efficiently as possible, which is exactly what he did. And now we are going to be hopping into game number 2 on Death Aura. Another map where you do have a couple of good positions for those tank timings. That's why Submarine is a Terran map. Those siege tanks siege up behind that tower. Yep, I totally agree. Plus the fact that there's so many ramps, so many choke points that you have to fight into as a Protoss. It can work out if you have some good force fields. But you saw those force fields and that Guardian Shield get decimated very quickly. And that just opens up the rest of the engagement for BYUN in very convincing fashion. But he's not done yet. We still have a series to play. Spawning in the top position of Death Aura, LE. He's repping the dragon. Give it up for ZOUN. And I'm making a very conscious effort to say his name right. I don't need to make as conscious an effort because his name is his real name. Give it up for Shopify Rebels, BYUN. So I think ZOUN really just needs to be a little bit quicker on his transitions if he's going to go up against BYUN in these series. Oh, It's not a best of 5, it's a best of 7. Sorry about that. Now the probe is a little bit late to delay the racks. So BYUN will be able to throw down his natural pretty quickly there. You can kind of see that bit of hesitation as he wanted to decide whether to chase the probe or not. So the Nexus is exactly where it's supposed to be. We do have a probe hiding down there in the bottom corner. And you see the Reaper in hot pursuit. I don't think that probe's for anything scary. I think it's mostly just looking for the potential proxy for BYUN. And upon seeing that there's not really any in the normal positions, he's just going to go home with that probe. And the Adept going to not finish that shade. And everything's right with the world. Okay, Robo follow-up. Let me see the timing on that Robo Bay afterwards. To really get a good glimpse of what's going to be going on. We do have Blink on the way as normal, as the Hellion is going to be cleaning up one of these Adepts. They will pay with their lives for it, but that is a pretty nice pickoff because that's going to delay any sort of harassment or even just scouting information. By killing those off, that is pretty much all of ZOUN's map presence. A nice drop, not too big of a commitment, and it is going to force that defensive warp in before Blink is even finished. So just going to pick up and get out with everything. We do see that War Prism hanging out near the third base as well. That Widow Mine did not get a kill. But it did slow down ZOUN just a little bit more, giving time for the Raven and giving time for that siege tank to siege up in a good position. Oh, the hidden War Prism, or hidden Widow Mine. Not gonna get. See, I don't understand Widow Mine sometimes. I feel like that was in range long enough for it to fire, but just that little random delay in the unit cooldown means that instead he doesn't lose the Stalker. But now ZOUN is kind of is really just blocking off the front. This is a bit of a soft contain with these Blink Stalkers. He doesn't want to go in. He doesn't want to get any pickoffs. He just wants to prevent BYUN from going across the map as the Colossus are going to pop, as he starts to throw down that forge and those additional gateways. He's just trying to play it completely safe. almost getting the medevac. That would have been a nice pickoff. Third base is on the way. Let's see. Extended thermal lance, charge lots. So, you know, we're firmly in the mid game with this composition. The one thing you got to look out for is those upgrades. BYUN has been ahead in upgrades for a good majority of the series, I believe. Except for the ones that ZOUN won. ZOUN was able to kind of stay equal. And that's what propelled him forward, because his units were primarily gateway units. And so when you're fighting with primarily gateway units, you gotta stay equal, because they do not scale as well as Bio. ZOUN is a ZOUN. That's how technically you pronounce it, but I think a lot of people just pronounce it ZOUN because it's a little bit easier to say. I'm just making a conscious effort to say his real name. Ooh, losing a lot of that sentry energy. One just barely surviving, so that is pretty good. Not in position to disallow BYUN from the high ground, though. And those stalkers taking a very big connection. I think BYUN has found a nice spot to come into the main base as well, as he catches one big Zealot warp in. And jumps right in. Stalkers are the only thing defending until the Zealots come up from the back. The force field not going to hold this away. So relying on the Zealots to get on top. Looks like he did lose the medevac and will lose the Sage Tank. So maybe want to try and focus fire down some of those Stalkers so that he can continuously jump in. We did see a couple of Zealots go in and kill off 3 SCVs. Now, you know, ZOUN, he feels confident enough to try and go in for an attack of his own. BYUN doesn't really have a lot. It's just pure bio, so the charge will be able to push it back all the way through. The Stalkers going to help, and now the Zealot's going to be able to get on top of the third base, forcing the retreat. A good spread by BYUN, about as good as he can get. To try and mitigate that damage while he builds up that Viking count. But 10 workers already going down. Raven coming in from the backfield. So now he's going to drop right on top. Maybe focus fire down some of these Colossus. 2 will go down. The third being juggled like a madman. But all 4 Colossus are actually dead now. Oh my goodness, that was just stellar play out of BYUN. Now ZOUN falling below 100 supply. Losing over 19 workers and 4 of those Colossus. Yeah, that's the most of the firepower of this army. And while he is about to get those +1, BYUN's already on his way to +2. So if BYUN can keep these kind of drop plays up, if he can seesaw around, rotate around with this army of ZOUN, not able to chase him as effectively, then he's gonna feel pretty comfortable in this series and probably going to take it home. So, you know, transitions are out for both sides. Adding on that additional starport gonna pump up his Viking numbers, even though there are no more Colossus on the field. They will still be a good buffer for the charge lots in the front. But you know, maybe Liberators would be a better choice. I know they're not as popular as they used to be in this matchup. Sometimes you kind of just have to buck the trend and go for what you think is right in order to make it fully work. Yeah, that definitely doesn't work. Losing 2 of the ghosts, but that's going to be BYUN's Q. Takes 1 big disruptor shot, but he is still up over 40 army supply. He's losing some workers to home to the Zealots. We'll take out a couple of more units before retreating. Okay. A Joan. More like Joan of Arc. Okay. Okay, 9 worker kills. 3 more Vikings on the way. Again, there's not really too many things that die to Vikings. A big EMP gonna be stimming his way up the ramp. 1 shield overcharge is all it's gonna take to back this up, but should be able to get that Nexus. BYUN, is he paying attention? No, he is not. Oh my goodness. So BYUN losing half his army once again. That's been his big issue. He takes his attention away for just a second, and all of a sudden, nothing is there anymore. So this is going to prompt maxed out Joan to silently inch his way forward. Okay, gets the Marauders, which is kind of the linchpin of this army. Now Joan just kind of rotating around BYUN. He is almost maxed out himself, and he's just going to go for a big base trade. DT's warped in to help, but the scan should be enough to clean those up. Another huge connection. Oh my goodness. There you have it. GG is called. Joan takes game number 2. So we are tied up in this one. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in so far, guys. Make sure you hit that follow button to know when Alpha X goes live. We got plenty of events coming up, not just this month, but next one. I think we got a good sponsorship stream next week, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is just yet. I'll keep it secret until Sushi gives me permission to say so. And yeah, I'll say it again and again, that Matcherino page, super important for these players. And here we go. Hopping into Pillars of Gold. Oof. 1 second, guys. Looks like there is a little trouble loading in. There we go. Spawning. Down here in the top position, because this is a top-down game. Everything is down here. He is, for Alpha X, ZOUN, or ZOUN, as he's also known. And his opponent, down here in the bottom position. Give it up for Shopify Rebel, BYUN. Like I said, this is the most annoying unit. You know, I can deal with disruptors, I can deal with void rays, I can deal with pretty much anything a Protoss has, but this one probe is literally the worst thing in the world to experience as a Terran player, because you don't know if they're going to be throwing something down behind, after the scout, so you gotta always tail it. Otherwise, you're just going to get caught completely off guard. Now, ZOUN is going to try and delay that for as long as possible. We do have the Marine first, so BYUN going to be skipping the Reaper, which I do like. I do like on this map. It's not really easy to get in on this base, so you have to. You got to change things up a little bit, and the Marine is just a little bit safer because it allows you to use that extra gas to throw down the factory, to throw down the reactor, and yeah, just shoo away any adept that comes across. So if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Twilight Council is the choice for ZOUN. Playing it defensive is pretty nice. As we can kind of see, if you let BYUN be too aggressive, then sometimes it can work out in your favor. He overextends. He didn't start his +3 upgrades, I believe, so that was another big issue for him as he was fighting on equal upgrades. To a vastly superior army with plenty of AoE and splash. Okay. This is actually really important information as well. He has dropped down 3 gateways. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, why is that such a big deal? Well, like I said in the previous games, that means you're going to have a lot less gas, a lot less minerals to expand and diversify your portfolio. So you are looking to kill your opponent as quickly as you can with 4 Rax Stalker Blink. Hellion going to be able to get in. Shield Battery not in position, so 3 more kills. Hey, Rob 7011, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. you the man. And this is the medevac that just got sniped. This is going to give a little bit of an early warning to BYUN that this is coming, but it's not looking good. He's got one siege tank spread very far forward, so we'll have to see if ZOUN is going to take that position and link up to that high ground, or if instead he's going to, you know, do something a little bit different. He's rotating with that Warp Prism to a position where the siege tank is not. That is fantastic for him. But taking a look at what else he's got, he doesn't have his forge just yet, so he's not going to be able to get many upgrades. Charge not on the way, so that does mean that BYUN will have stim. He will have siege tanks. He will have that +1 much, much quicker. So it's just something you have to really look out for as ZOUN. A little bit of a Raven hunt. They don't have blink, so they will not catch it. Oof, but I see charge about halfway done with 4 more gateways. Now that's the magic number where your economy just explodes into efficiency. BYUN. Okay, thank you. That could have been really bad if he would have jumped into that. But now, with the War Prism coming in, he's got the Templar Archives already up. No storm on the way, just... So those are purely for Archons. But BYUN finding a beautiful position. Blocking the natural. The Stalkers in the backfield going to be picking off the reinforcements. And now coming in for the flank. Dorito Cannon going to be going down on the War Prism and the Immortals. So the tank going to be focus fired on them, looking to take out what he can. Stim is complete, though. So that is going to be the it of this army for ZOUN. A couple of defensive warpins might be enough to pull the tide, but as long as those zealots go down, like that's just not really enough to deal with the marauders in the front. He's actually still producing Immortals as well. No Colossus, no Disruptors. I think that's the kind of tools that you would really want or require at this point. Just because, you know, you can't really fight this army without Splash. And while Archons do have some Splash, it's not really going to be as good as getting, say, some Colossus Splash in a straight line when the army tries to bank out. That was a beautiful pick off there by ZOUN as well. He's getting very fortunate that his opponent is flying right into his mouth. Big Widowmine connections as the Liberator is sieging up. BYUN still has a couple of Archons that he can juggle with the Prism. Been holding on, but he does have a superior army count. So BYUN's still looking for an angle where he can break this Terran. He is not finding it, by the way. So we got a fourth being built. Oh, okay. So he didn't have the Robo Bay. That was very interesting. I think he was trying to stay on this gateway technology for a little bit longer than he necessarily should. But it looks like BYUN actually forgot his +2 armor. That is a big deal. A very big deal. Because that means that these +2 zealots, which is about halfway done themselves, will hit hard, but hold that thought as the force fields will get saved. Some of those units do go down. The Archon gets killed off by a Widow Mine. And just slowly inching his way forward is BYUN. He's the one who's setting the pace of this fight. Zealots rotating forward again and again, but they're not really getting the connections to the bio that they would like. Even the force fields kind of hindering them a little bit. Big run by with the main army. That's a lot of Immortals, and they will help out a lot with the Marauders. But the War Prism has to be so careful. He needs to get out of there. He can't fight this anymore. He's got to go home. He's got to recall. He's got to do something, but he can't fight this. BYUN, if you fight this, you will die. So trying to give himself that time. He's sending down the force fields on the ramp, but that's hurting his own zealots because he's turning around to fight. Okay, now he's got 2 Colossus out. He's going for 3 and 4, but oh man, BYUN loads out in the main base, and although he's going to be forced back, he loses quite a chunk of his army, but he's going to trade really efficiently with those stalkers. That's going to make any future attempt to get into the main base much easier. 14 SCVs going down throughout that all. Ooh, the Colossus. Oh, do not lose the Colossus to the Widow Mines. I swear. BYUN rotating around for the left, on the left side. Now he's still got some units in those medevacs. Did he just EMP himself? I think he did. There's almost a certain foie gras about BYUN defending these bases. He's making it look easy, countering BYUN at every turn, but BYUN is certainly not making it easy for him. If that kind of makes sense. He's making it look easy, but it's how you and I all know it's not. I want to see something. Yeah, look at the kind of difference in the APM here between these two. BYUN just all over the place with that one. These guys playing out of their minds fast. And that one was a pun intended, as that Widow Mine gets 5 kills on the other side. Actually, that was a Liberator. Never mind. BYUN almost maxed out once again. He's got Ghost. He's got that He's got 2 Vikings just in case those Colossus want to fight. Is there a clicking noise? It might be my voice going down. Yeah, that might be a little bit better. EMP's blanketing the Stalkers in the front who are trying to be very aggressive. Let us see. BYUN has divided his army. A good majority of what ZOUN has is coming up to defend his new 5th base, but he has caught wind of the fight going on down here. Disruptors are the first on the scene. And BYUN, he is paying attention this time, so he won't really lose too much to Ghosts. Gonna get their EMPs off, and this main fight. Oof, it looks like BYUN's supply has plummeted a little bit. I think he took another big shot. I'm not for BYUN OMGBs. I am for a good time, and BYUN is making this a good time as he gets straight into the main base. Will get deflected by those Stalkers. The Vikings even gonna land to help, but now ZOUN has the advantage once again in terms of that supply, but it is plummeting. BYUN trying to do everything he can, but now the counterattack from ZOUN. Let's see if he can close this one out. Oh, he got the 5th base. Nice. Oh, another big disruptor shot about to go off. At the very last second, BYUN gets out of it. ZOUN moving forward with those Stalkers, but gets picked off. He does have the supply advantage. And it will continue to rotate around. BYUN not been able to take a 5th base at all during this series. And now I think it's going to be quite a bit before he can really exert himself on the map. Oh, almost a big disruptor hit. He does get 1 Marauder. He got a little bit extra there, but not the best. Micro control is Imba. You know what? They've already tried to nerf BYUN twice, and it just hasn't worked. But a couple of okay disruptor shots. Here comes the big fight. Beautiful concave out of ZOUN. But it's only Stalkers, 1 Colossus left. Does BYUN have enough to finish it out? The supplies are dead even. And the Colossus just barely surviving. The reinforcements of the Zealots might just barely be enough. It's so close. Oh, very aggressive blink forward there. Gonna sacrifice a Stalker for it. Oh my god, what is this game? Seriously, guys. Look, I mean, look at this. He even killed off 2 of his own Zealots with the Disruptors. I think the big story is just what's being killed. BYUN has a much cheaper army, so he's being able to replenish it much quicker, and that's allowing him to get these couple of different rotations around the map. Good focus fire as well. Gonna save those gonna save himself from those disruptor shots. Hot pickups. And seeing that there is no base for him up there in the top position, he's gonna try and bring his army together. Both players only on 4 bases. BYUN, he's established his 5th, but it's not mining fully just yet. Well, not even just a wrist thing, PH Neutral, but remember, when he was doing so well with Reapers, they nerfed the Reapers, and then there was something else they nerfed because of BYUN. But you know what? They didn't nerf the Disruptors, which just blanketed BYUN's army. So now this is the last big fight. The Vikings wailing away in the sky. The the bio starting to dissipate. ZOUN doesn't really have a lot of supply left. The Vikings have landed, but on the other side of things, the Zealots are tearing apart BYUN's mineral line. 18, 21, 22 workers going down. And now, with BYUN's economy stunted, he's on 34 workers. He's relying on these mules to keep him into it. But that means every single unit counts from this point forward. Hey, what's up, Trigger ZC? Sugar, is that our Trigger? Is that the new Alpha X legend who's number 10 on the ladder? Taking a big shot. But now with the Liberators in play, the Stalker count just isn't enough to deal with them. You know what? Neither side is ahead. We are 22 minutes into this game. And I still don't know who's winning. I think ZOUN is. But I want to say ZOUN is. I want to say it. But every time I say that, it's a caster curse for him, and I kind of want him to win now. Like, going this long versus BYUN, you deserve to win. Okay, another big shot. Gonna tear up a little bit more. He gets a couple of okay connections there. The Zealot's going to chase away on the right side, fighting right in range of that overcharged shield battery. 7 more workers to the Zealots. I think ZOUN is just a little bit too overwhelming. You can kind of see the reinforce from BYUN is just pure Marines. And he hasn't even been able to clean that up just yet, only just now finishing that. It comes down to this last big engagement. The charge is good all over this. Disruptor shot. Not enough. The second one whiffs as well. So maybe BYUN stims his way forward into victory here as the Stalker count just plummets. There are no disruptors left with this. What was he doing with that one? Killing off his own Stalker. GG. Whoa. Jesus. Like, I don't even know who came off. Who came back in this game, in that game? I think that was pretty much just a seesaw. Neither side came back. They both just wailed on each other till the end. Guess what, guys? This is still a best of 7, by the way. We have the potential. If BYUN doesn't win the next 2, we're gonna keep going. Yeah, 20 SCVs to 75 probes. The problem was, you know, you kill off all those SCVs, but if you can't kill the army, that's the that's been the problem in my ladder games too. And I understand the frustration, just the fact that, you know, I kill off every single probe, every single economy that the opponent has. And then I lose. Because I can't kill the army. Now, we're going to get this next game underway. But I need to refresh my water after that one. Just action everywhere. You can kind of tell I was a little bit falling asleep there by some of those before some of those engagements. But let us hop in to game number 4. Spawning in the top corner. That was a hard fought one. He deserves to win this series after that one game. Down here in the top position, give it up for Alpha X ZOUN. And his opponent in the bottom position, he is the Shopify Rebels, BYUN. And if you guys know another amazing caster that we have here on the Alpha X team, Kozan, he likes to remind everyone that BYUN was teamless. But now he's got to change his whole intro for BYUN because of the fact that BYUN now has that team. But that being said, I will be right back, guys. I just need to grab some more water while this game gets started. All right, let's see where we are at. So it looks like BYUN is setting up for some Widowmine drops. That's really nice, as we have a cheeky Dark Shrine coming down out of ZOUN. He doesn't want this game to last as long as that one. He wants to get his win quick, dirty, and the pro toss way. So War Prism is almost out. We did see a Viking being built by BYUN, so a little bit of star sense there. Just making sure Cheeky Breeky versus Demki. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the War Prism's out, but there is a Viking out for BYUN, so he's going to be able to kind of deflect this a little bit. Even going to get the Raven. So I'm kind of curious. No. Did he see that Dark Shrine? Yeah, he's seen it a couple of times now. Which is really good, because once you see that, it's... it's just really a lot easier to kind of hold on to. The Raven's about to be complete as well, so you don't... So he's not going to worry. Going to use a scan just so the Widowmine can take it down. Keeping +1 on the way for Stim. Oh my goodness, that's a bad choice. Tiki Briki Vidamki? Maybe? I'm sorry, man. I don't really speak. I really don't speak Russian. I speak like 10%. I speak like 10% of like 4 different languages. I'm gonna guess CS:GO. That's the only place in gaming that I know Russians enjoy. Ah, soccer game. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, now that ZOUN got deflected there quite handily. You can see that he's just going to be throwing down those 5 gateways and try and kill BYUN with a very committed attack. As he will have the Colossus, he will have the extended thermal lance, and he will have charge. It looks like BYUN wanted to move out towards his 3rd base at the very least. Oxide is one of those maps where you do have a couple of different locations where you can really push quite aggressively with the siege tanks. But ZOUN is just going to catch him out. Has to be careful because that Raven can shut down the Colossus very easily. And without that, your defense is dead in the water. +1 blink, combat shields, concussive shells. Man, all is kind of just in this power-up phase. The timing that you would find for a tank push is gone. As you know, once charge completes, the siege tanks lose a lot of their value. They're kind of like cars in that. If you learn that you can run everywhere, you don't really need a car anymore, so you can't really get rid of it for a cheap price. Or you just want to get rid of it. But looks like BYUN is going to stay on top of his upgrades this game. He's got his +1 synced up pretty well with the +1 of ZOUN. And his drop will get deflected as the Stalkers are going to be moving in for the kill. Thing to note is that ZOUN has had that supply lead, but if you kind of take a look at it in terms of that army value, it is actually split right down the middle, with ZOUN taking a very small lead now because he does have those disruptors in. And he will be adding in the extra robo facility just to make sure that he does have enough. We've seen kind of disruptors being the killing blow of BYUN in this series. It's been the one thing to really slow him down, really cut him down to size, more so than the Colossus, more so than the just Charge Zealots gateway unit pushes. And so having a lot of them is going to be pretty darn good. Okay, getting cancel on the 4th. He's got to be careful not to get surrounded, though, as his attack path. He's choosing a very dangerous path. The feedback goes down on the Raven, but you know what? This is going to be his prompt. He's going to go straight for the main base, unloads right on top of the Stalkers, loses 1 full medevac. Now ZOUN can't reinforce with a warp in. He is supplied locked quite heavily. We did see a small skirmish with the main army. Going to be forcing away the Marauders to deal with the Stalkers. Gets the +2 attack denied. And so now it is equal upgrades once again. Oh, cheeky little Widow Mines heading out. And the Raven actually survived. That's pretty good. But you know what? It hasn't survived. All the units that are dealing with this drop, the DTs, get scattered out, forcing the recall. But it looks like ZOUN is going to keep trying to come into attack. Oh my goodness, that disruptor, almost a beautiful connection. That second one, though, hits its mark. Colossus starting to get a little bit weakened. It is equal supplies all over the place. Taking a look at the battle tab. And it looks like a couple of Colossus and Disruptors have already fallen. Trying to break through the supply depot wall. That's going to be his best bet because you can't fight in a choke point versus BYUN. It just doesn't work that way. ZOUN doesn't have Storm either. So he's trying to fight this without any positional stuff. Yes, he still has the Disruptors. He still has the Colossus. But, you know, it's just one additional thing that I think would really help out in these fights. The drop's still in ZOUN's main base as well. It's just going to be picking off some of those buildings. The Cybernetics core actually going down, so no additional stalkers can be made. Which is really scary because that just allows these drops to get worse and worse as you pick off these stalkers. Oh my goodness. Please go off, Widowmine. I think the worst feeling in the world is that one Widowmine that you forgot. Yeah, you're right. It can't be scarier because it means more zealots. But when you see this kind of drop play out of BYUN, you really do need stalkers to kind of shut that down. But here we go, the army getting right on top of the disruptors, making sure that they can't get the shots off. But a huge volley is enough to crush the army of BYUN. I am a StarCraft 2 fanboy, Zeiss. And you know what? If BYUN gives good games, then yes, I am a BYUN fanboy. If ZOUN gives us good games, then I am a ZOUN fanboy. I am one with the Sippy Cup, and the Sippy Cup is one with me. And that's an inside joke from our Discord server. Check that out. Oh no, he recalls. He made the mistake Patience did. Loses a Colossus and a Disruptor for his error. Gets the pickup. One Marauder left behind, but that is the sacrifices of war. Gotta take a look at it. ZOUN, he does have a nice bank, about 1,000 minerals, so it's not huge. But if you look at what BYUN has, he just has a ton of gas and not really a lot of minerals to spend it on. EMP is gonna blanket this. BYUN coming a little bit too far forward, so he will lose some of those ghosts. But the counter on this attack on this side, he is just trying to starve out ZOUN as much as possible. Loss is popping in the nick of time. Now, the fighting on two fronts. Oh, the Disruptors. They are going so far forward, and they're getting cleaned out by those siege tanks. Oh, man. Another epic game. Like, Jesus. Although BYUN very wisely going to back off here. Make sure that he doesn't get surrounded on both sides. He's going to bring in the reinforcements and just defend this high ground location. The supplies have plummeted for both of them. The focus fire is good. I think BYUN just barely has enough on this side. Maybe not. Oh my goodness. Those Colossus survive with the hair on their chinny chin chin. 22 workers going down. And once again, we're in a low econ situation. Okay, BYUN loses the base as well. That's a really big deal. If he was able to keep that alive, I think he would be in a much okayer spot. Just because he does have mules to kind of make up some of that difference. Oh, but yeah, that DT going to town. 34 workers. Going down 62 to 26. You know what? I can't really fault him right now, but he's taking another kind of equal trade, but you need more than just equal at this point because of the fact that those disruptors are there. Nice hot pickup, and he does survive with all the full medevacs, but every unit really counts for BYUN right now. He's down below 100 supply. Yeah, it's not so much about the upgrades, it's about what the Protoss player has. He has a lot of high damage AoE units. Now, while BYUN doesn't really have an answer for them, the Marauders trying to tank the Stalkers in the front. And that is going to be it. ZOUN tabbing that series out, tying us up 2 games apiece. Ooh, mama. This just keeps getting better and better by the moment. Obviously, I'd like to thank you guys so much for tuning in so far. This has been an epic day, and it's not going to be over as soon as this series is over because we got some sponsored content coming up with Raid Shadow Legends. So make sure you stick around for that. And yeah, make sure you use our link RAID to get some cool in-game merchandise to help start your journey to becoming the champion of the world. Spawning in the top position of Lightshade. Give it up for Alpha X Gaming's ZOUN. And his opponent down here in the bottom for the Shopify Rebels. He's BYUN. And you know what? When it comes down to is you got to give these guys props because they just played 2 24-minute long games wherein it was just super action-packed, super aggressive all over the place, and it was very hard to really keep track of in totality. So the fact that these guys are able to just load up the next game and be ready to go is a real testament to kind of their dedication to the craft. And you know, BYUN obviously coming back from IEM a little bit earlier than he might have wanted to be, but still deciding to come out and put on a good show for you guys, kind of showing that he is a really good guy to watch. And you know, obviously ZOUN, you know, the second place runner-up of the GSL Super Tournament, #1 for 2021. only losing the trap. And what I thought that was a pretty close series, all things considered. So really bringing a name for himself this year. This is the year of the ZOUN. You know what? Yes, I want to see some cheese too. You know why? Because I haven't had a good cheese fix in a while. Like, I think players are just playing too straight up these days, and that's why I'm glad I'm doing the NA Apprentice Team League tomorrow, because I know I'm going to see some good cheese out of Psystorm Gaming. But you know what, Zeiss, you did get your wish. We've got a little bit of a max packs. Oh no, excuse me, not a max packs. This is a blink, almost all in, off of 3 gates. Now the biggest problem for BYUN is that he is going for a bit of something that gets countered by, he's going for Hellion drops off of 3 Hellions. Remember, it does take 3 shots to kill off. Oh, actually, never mind. Okay, he's just going to send the Hellbats into the main base. Oh my god, that makes it even worse, because that means the Marines are not going to be home to defend this. Oh, no, no, no. ZOUN, now he's going to pull the trigger. He knows that there is nothing at home. So the SCV's already being forfeit at the natural. The probes are pulled into the waiting shield battery. 4 of them will go down. BYUN going to get a couple of nice shots, but it looks like the natural will fall. The defensive warp in will help out quite a bit. Oh my goodness, natural goes down. Is this enough from ZOUN to close things out? I don't necessarily think so, because ZOUN will have his natural still, but now there is a siege tank, and Blink is just not done. Yeah, BYUN's gonna have to play from behind for a long time now, as he has BYUN in a bit of a soft contain. Now he just needs to find the perfect unit composition to finish things. Off the back of this, I'd say just drop a bunch of extra gates and go for a big charge lat Archon timing to kind of finish things off. I think that's really the best thing that you were done. I think that's the best thing that you can do to just kind of not make this game go on too much longer. But instead, he's just going to drop a 3rd base. Okay. Did you guys see that? That was an awesome, awesome blink right there. Like, waits until he starts to boost and was in range before taking it down. Really good, really nice. So the new natural trying to go down. It looks like the siege tanks are just gonna have to slowly inch their way forward. That's a very aggressive blink. We'll take a couple of pot shots for it. Still finding a good location where he can kind of just pressure this. Oh. The warp prism, there you go. Charge. An observer. And BYUN doesn't have stim started up. He doesn't have any upgrades at all, really. Gonna be trying to start those simultaneously with the double Engi Bay. But if he can keep getting these siege tank pickoffs, that is going to be wonderful for him. We do have the Banshee coming in and getting 3 kills. That is very nice, but it does not have Blink. Or, of course it doesn't have blink. It doesn't have cloak. So it will get taken down quite easily. Huh. Not even going to show up on the... There you go. BYUN is down 30 supply. He has a scary army, but it's just pure Marines. So the Stalkers can kite that back eternally. And you know what? Jones doing exactly what I thought he would. He's got that Templar Archives coming in. He's got those additional gates. And off of free base, he can really push the issue quite soon. Storm is just the nail in the coffin. I don't know how BYUN is going to be able to hold on. Because again, he's just pure Marines right now. Trying to get a couple of pickoffs on the siege tanks. Not close enough. He does find the proxy gate, so that's going to help out a bit. Now, BYUN has stabilized quite well. I'd like to say he's definitely not going to want this game to go on for much further. Almost certainly, big storm gonna blanket this army. The SCVs are pulled as well. So if this push doesn't work, BYUN's pretty much dead in the water. And honestly, with Storm done, he's not even gonna try. GG is called. ZOUN is the first player to go up to match point. Just absolutely flawless there from ZOUN. And you know what? I think he can finish this one out. I sincerely do. Let me see what he says, because we're going into Jaganantha, guys. Sugo hasio subnida.
수고하셨습니다.
Oh, okay. He's saying thank you. Okay. So, what could potentially be the last map of the night? It has been an epic journey out of both of these guys. And let us see if we can continue the epic series that we have on our hands. Put that there. I'm going to put that there. Put that there. And let's introduce these guys. Give a big, warm welcome to Alpha X's own ZOUN. And his opponents down here in the bottom for the Shopify Rebels. He is BYUN. So now this probe is just a little bit of a nuisance. I don't see any forge, which is always a good sign. If you know the NA server, like this one is known as a pretty good cannon rushing map. I think Turkey Dano if you know the name, rated it like 7 or 8 cannons out of 10. But ZOUN is giving a lot of respect to BYUN here by not doing so. He is just going to try and block this natural CC for as long as possible. But BYUN is able to get it down on location. Turkey Dano, Afflesice. He's a North American player. So it's understandable that you don't know about him. Alright, so I'm kind of just watching the production tab, seeing what ZOUN's choice is going to be. I think Stargate would be pretty nice on this map. Stargate can be pretty powerful, and especially since BYUN is going to be going for what is a pretty good rush in the 2 Marauder, 1 Reaper build into what looks to be either 3 or 2 racks. That is just going to mean that he would be able to kind of deflect it quite easily and also put some heavy pressure on the other side of the map. Now, for this rush, remember Jagannatha, it may look big, but that acceleration zone in the middle does mean that it is a very short rush distance for him. So if the Reaper can kind of bait the Stalker and Adept out, which actually doing pretty well, that should be okay. Now, this is also looking like a defensive blink opening. I don't think he wants to attack too much. Okay. He wants to attack. For 4 gates, you don't get that unless you want to go in. As the Marauders going to be coming in. There's no shield battery in position, so they will be able to take down the Stalker. They will get the Adept as well, and now the probes will start to fall. Good micro, going to keep that 1 Marauder alive for as long as possible. Concussive Shells is going to ensure that 5 workers go down, and now the Stalker is under threat. Alright, so that was actually a really good rush for BYUN. For the cost of a couple of Marauders, he got the Stalker, the Adept, and those probes. So now ZOUN is going to have to start this rush from scratch as the Warp Prism is going to be moving across. Looks like the Stalkers are inside, so let's see how much he can get done. As BYUN has just continued his Marauder production, and Stim is complete. So that shallow window that you can kind of find in this build is not really open for him. Yeah, Blink's not even done, so he's relying on the Warp Prism to micro this out. Gets a couple of workers. Good start. Very good start. Now that Blink's done, he's got to make that decision of if he wants to make it into the main base. Keep in mind there are no siege tanks, since BYUN is focusing quite heavily on his bio production, as he wants to move out after this. Yeah, that's almost a death sentence going in there. It looks like ZOUN doesn't know that he has Blink, as he's not really blinking back on this. The Stim bio is going to give chase. The Warp Prism just a little bit slower, but that will survive. And now Siege Tanks, Marauders, Marines +1. This is going to be a very scary counter push out of BYUN. Essentially right now, all ZOUN can do is buy himself some time. And the way to do that is to pick off the Marauders in the front and not lose any of these Stalkers. Oh my goodness, if he was able to get that medevac, that would have been pretty funny. right, so far so good. Looks like BYUN is getting a little bit impatient and wants to go for that big kind of drop. He's leaving the siege tanks at home while the Zealot Warpin is going straight in. 4 workers going to start. And actually, it's Stalkers. But charge is on the way. Might force a recall here. Yeah, he's definitely going to need a recall. Please? Recall? Yeah, there you go. Very late on that recall. So, oh, and it's actually going to be into the natural. So the Robo Bay will go down. The Colossus production has been halted. The Nexus will fall. Does he have enough of the warp ends? It looks like the answer is no, now that he is heavily supply blocked. So the Stalker's just trying to fight this straight up. BYUN will get out of there with a majority of his army. Oh my goodness, this is going from bad to worse for ZOUN. So now with the reinforcements. Steam rolling their way across. It looks like ZOUN took a couple of 2 big shots. The Warpism doing what it can to keep that Colossus alive. That is the linchpin of its defense. And now with the siege tanks in position, we see BYUN in an impenetrable fortress. There's just not really enough here. The Zealots, he's working in 4 Zealots, but he's not going to be able to get a flank on it. And BYUN can kind of divide his forces up and get those efficient trades. Look at that, even focus firing down. The Warping in Zealots. Oh my goodness, ZOUN is getting torn apart. Still hasn't remade that natural nexus or that main nexus either. So that is a lot of minerals that you are not going to have on 2 bases. BYUN is trying to clean this up. The Zealots blasting their way through. SCVs are pulled. And the last siege tank has fallen here, but there's just not really enough Protoss as he gets the full surround. Does BYUN. The Colossus doing what he can. He gets some pretty decent connections, but as the Warp Prism falls, that's going to be it. We're going to an ace match. So 3 ace matches in a row tonight. I certainly wasn't expecting that, and I'm sure you guys weren't either. Oh my goodness. Fantastic play from BYUN. He just really dialed it in that time. And thank you, AX Onigami, with the Prime for 2 months. Let's go for that ace. Oh man, ZOUN is going to have to make it work on Romanticide to close this out. So bring your hype. If you are an Alpha X fan, give him all your energy. If you're a BYUN fan, send it his way. I don't care which way that energy goes. Just make sure you have something to give, as we're going to be getting it, this one, our all. Aw, thank you, Zeiss. Much love, my man. Yeah, it feels like I get all the casts that are perfect for your time zone. Like either in the morning or middle of the night. When you can watch. But yeah. I'm not even going to nitpick here because we have 2 amazing players. And we have to make these introductions as amazing as possible. Spawning down here in the bottom position. Give it up for the dragon in all of us. He is Alpha X's ZOUN. And his opponent up here in the top for the Shopify Rebels. Give it up for BYUN. So, I hope not, Zeiss. I know these guys are getting tired. It is very late in the KR realm today. So, these guys are just wanting to finish this one out. They're wanting to go to bed. And you know what? I'm wanting this one to finish out so that we can play some Raid Shadow Legends after this. IM's going on as well, so make sure you check out Ragnarok versus Neeb. I'm going to be tuning into that one silently while we're playing Raid. But yeah, just epic stuff we've seen in the last couple of games. ZOUN being the one looking to be aggressive just so that he can catch BYUN off guard. That last one, I don't want to say it was a build order loss, but just the fact that BYUN kept up with his Marauder production after that initial pressure did mean that the Stalkers were much less effective, and Stimpack was done so much quicker. If you guys know, Blink has 2 windows. One, before there's enough siege tanks to stop it, and 2, before Stimpack is done. He missed that second window. And yep, there we go. The most aggressive opening for ZOUN. He's got the Twilight Council coming in. Let's count the gateways as he drops them. You know what? Technically, this is a best of 1 from here on out. You know, one thing I wanted to try earlier is like the player introduction. I thought that kind of stuff was pretty cool. I got to learn how to use that, use that stuff for future casts, because I think that's going to be pretty cool. But I digress, because we do have Blink. We do have the Robo facility. And we do have 3 gateways. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. ZOUN is putting everything on the line right now in order to kill his opponent. BYUN going for a Widowmine drop. Let's see if his attention is in the right place at the right time. Okay. Stalkers are there. He is paying attention, so you can't go in. Otherwise, that's going to affect you. As the Stalker's going to be moving in. The siege tank is about halfway complete. Raven as well to pick off that observer. You just have to deny the high ground vision. That's all you need, and you have won this game. Oof. Like, no spoilers, but yeah, I'm liking this IEM. I've got that on the side. One siege tank. That siege tank is very dangerously positioned down there on the bottom. But here we go. First big blink. The auto turret is down. He's going to focus fire the Raven for a little bit before realizing that there is a cheeky supply depot that he can go for. The Widowmine will come in. Oh no, ZOUN, he's not paying attention. His probes are blanketed in death. And now as he tries to transition into the Colossi, he is about 7 to 8 probes down. And he can't break in here because, once again, this is so committed, so all in, that any third Nexus that you go for, you're just not going to be able to defend efficiently. Getting the Raven is a nice touch. I don't know why I went like a switch between Australian and British there. It just kind of felt right when you say Raven to have some sort of accent. We do have 4 Stalkers going to be coming in outside of that siege tank range, denying mining here from BYUN, so a lot of indirect damage as opposed to including those 3 SCVs. Now BYUN's a little bit contained by these SCVs. He's doing what he can. To try and break out. He doesn't have his third base up, but it's almost complete. And now the Stalkers are going to get chased down by the Stim Bio. Concussive Shell's not done. Nice concave, gonna get a couple of additional pickoffs, but actually BYUN is chasing this very far forward. Gonna be able to get quite a bit. As the drop going into the main base, there is nothing in here. So more probes falling, the Colossi out of position. And we'll be able to link up. That's dead. It's done its job. Oof, looks like ZOUN just fell apart there just a little bit, but he still has these Colossus and he still has a buffer for them. Let's see if it's enough, because he wants that blood in the water, and if he doesn't smell it, he's just gonna make it himself. Oh, that is an overwhelming BYUN army, and that's going to be jumping across the map. That is certainly something you don't want to see with the unit count of ZOUN. Ooh, getting fancy. Gonna get it right on top of that third base. Yeah, I don't know if there's really anything that he can do from this spot. This is just a really good position for those siege tanks. And although he's going to lose one of them before the siege up, that one big fire just wipes out pretty much everything that the Colossus stand for. And now we can just pick up in the medevacs and, you know, siege. We did have a small zealot run by, but the reinforcements clean that up. I hate to go French here, but look at the supply. 155 to 115, and BYUN has a 40 army supply lead, all just about. You can warp in more zealots with charge, and that's gonna help. But just with this positioning of the siege tanks, they gotta shoot. They gotta shoot to live, and they gotta live to shoot. He's giving a lot of time to ZOUN. It's got to be said, like, I don't think he really should have allowed him to get up to this Archon count, because that's just going to add a lot more to this army. But here we go. A big rotation coming down. There is one shield battery available for overcharge. And the reinforcements are coming in. BYUN just going to be fighting one big fight. Here we go. Guardian shield is popped. We do have a couple of ghosts on the way, so he might be waiting for EMPs. Again, I don't think that's really necessary. But a big flank coming in. ZOUN gets a little impatient, and the Archons will get decimated. The Colossus getting a couple of good splashes. And you know what? He's starting to hold the supply. He is equalizing. Does catch the siege tanks on siege, but now there is nothing guarding those Colossus, and the warp-in is one additional Zealot. And that is it. And even just the production tab tells you the whole story. BYUN just pile driving it on, even taking that fourth base. A very nice EMP as well, just going to weaken this army up. And we should, and don't quote me if I'm wrong, see the siege tanks rain hellfire on this. Now the Archons clean up the rest of it, BYUN being forced back. And see, that's kind of the problem. He gave ZOUN a lot of time in order to build up this army. Now the Colossus raining hellfire in the back. But he can't close out this game with what he has. He knows it. He's just going to open up a couple of different avenues to attack into later. Go, losing the Archon. Here we go, big warp in. And he does have a big army, but there are ghosts, there are EMPs, and here we go. This is pretty much the last engagement of the day. EMP is blanketing the Colossus in the backfield. All of the SCVs are dead. The Colossus still raining hellfire in the back. Good Warp Prism Micro, gonna keep those alive. Another big warp in, and BYUN barely having enough to clean up those Colossus, but not enough to deal with the Zealots. Oh my goodness. Now BYUN gonna keep the pressure on. It's just pure bio from him right now. He does have his +2 on the way to the only 1-1 of ZOUN. Charge is gonna blanket this back, but he's gonna have to retreat into shield battery range, and that's gonna help him in the fight. But still, he's able to push his way forward. Gets the snipe on that. Probes are pulled. But with the Colossus coming in, oh. Went a little bit better. Probably did. Now the production tab tells the biggest story of all. Again, take a look at this. The army value is still in BYUN's favor. He's just got to stop taking these bad engagements. And yeah, I like this. There's just not enough army for ZOUN to fight in multiple locations at once. So this is the move, the game-winning move as he goes straight for the fourth base. The warp in, not going to be in time, forcing the recall, which is just going to be BYUN's time to strike at the fourth. ZOUN is not going to defend that location. He knows that base is forfeit. But now he's got to walk his entire army over before he loses his third base. BYUN has retreated all the way back home with one army, but he still has enough here to threaten the third base. The fourth is now going to be under fire once again as there's only one Colossus. If he can get on top of that, that is it. BYUN being a little bit too patient here, keeping his units too far back. I don't like it, but there is no recall available. So he's going to be able to land in the main base, take out some buildings, take out the probes in the mineral line, get the cybernetics core, get the Twilight Council if he wants. And I think this is finally going to be the game-winning move. He loses one medevac full of units. But now his entire army is together. Oh my gosh, what a nail biter. We are 17 minutes into a game that shouldn't have gone past 10. And now BYUN rotating around. ZOUN gonna try and cut him off at the pass, but the unit pathing not gonna help him with that. Disruptor shot. First one goes forward, whiffs. A second one goes forward. A little bit too close for comfort there, but whiffs again. 6 more probes, and he's just going to sacrifice this location. He doesn't need that base, he says. But that being said, you know what? Excuse me. English is only my first language. I should speak it better, but BYUN just giving way too much respect to this. As he is completely maxed out. He has all the units that he needs. He's just got to find that one perfect fight. Don't fight in the choke points where the disruptors can get you, and don't fight in a bad concave where the Colossus can kill you. ZOUN, his army, he's completely out of position right now. He's going for a counterattack, and this is going to be the prompt that sends BYUN into a frenzy. One big base trade coming right up. It looks like ZOUN makes the first strike in it. Will get rid of some of these marauders and that base. But he is now supply block. Gets a beautiful connection on that army. And it is neck and neck. I don't know if there's a recall available. I believe there is. But how much can you essentially recall here before you are just dead? Couple of, it looks like another huge disruptor shot. So BYUN taking some huge damage. Oh my goodness. Is he gonna lose this one? It looks like he's gonna come home, as is ZOUN. BYUN is absolutely building nothing. He's got nothing on the production tab. His army supply, let's just see. 44, 18, 10, 2. BYUN killed 6 zealots. But here we go. This is the last stand for both sides. Whoever comes out of this fight will be victorious. The Zealots make their first charge. The Disruptors trying to force their way forward. Gets a beautiful connection right there. The split's a little bit better, but still some amazing hits going off. And as the last of the bios starts to fall, the Vikings are coming in to help. This is so close. It is a nail biter of a series. But as those disruptor shots start to whiff, the reinforcements of BYUN coming in. Gets one of his own zealots, and the Marauders pushing their way forward. They're getting on top of the disruptors. The zealots trying to do their job. A beautiful connection, and that's gonna be it. BYUN taps out, and ZOUN takes the series.